Hi, this is a video on how to use pastels, in particular soft pastels and oil pastels. They are a little bit different in that what they're held together is what makes a difference. So oil pastels, these are smaller, they can come small, they can become thicker. They are held together with some sort of oil-based product. And then soft pastels, which I have like my old box here of soft pastels, they are held together more with a resin type adhesive. So they're more like chalk-like. Their colors can be sometimes seen as more brilliant, and I'm going to show you in a little demonstration here. So I'm going to start first with your oils, and you can do simple things like you could just simply draw like you do with a crayon, right? And then the other thing I like with pastels is that you can use your finger or you can use a Kleenex, and you can literally just like smear them and smudge them, and you get a different texture, right? So then you can also layer them. So I'm just going to do another leaf here. You can layer that up. Just about got a soft pastel in there. And you can define it again. So that's just a little short example of what you could do. The other thing you could do if you want, you can use the edge to get sort of a sharper edge, but if you want to get like a more wider smear, I don't know if I have any of these that are already opened. You could just take off the side of it, and this is always a great thing to be able to do. So then you can do more texture like this. Let's see if you can see that. And then, of course, you can smudge it with your fingers. And you'll find, like, it's something to play around with and just see what you get, right? Also, when you've smudged it enough, you can sort of stretch it out a bit, too. Right? It sort of softens edges and gives a different effect. So, that's the oil pastels. So I'm going to just grab a couple of my chalk pastels here. So this is a chalk pastel. You could do the same thing, but you can see how it varies. So I'm just going to show, so you can see it is very similar, but then when you smudge it out as well, chalk pastels go a lot further than the oil ones in terms of the movement around. They also can be like lightened down quite a bit, and I don't think you can do quite as much with the oil. It sticks a little more. Of course, with chalk pastels you can do sketches, leaves, whatever. And you'll notice when you smudge it down, its lines are a little less visible than on the oil. One thing I like about chalk pastels compared to oil, though I love working with pastels in general, is that I can get some water, a paintbrush, and I literally can just go over top of my pastel. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. And you can paint it on. And you can use them actually like a bit like watercolors this way, because it is pigment, right? And one thing I was going to add in the beginning, which I didn't, was about pigment. I actually have some loose pigment. So this is what pigment actually is. It's just like loose, and they're from quite often from minerals. rocks, resins, and then they're ground down into fine powder. And this is actually pigment that I picked up in my travels to Morocco. I have a whole bunch of them. And I find the pigments a little different. I've tried, it's probably better to just use it direct because it's really, really strong direct. So you can get a sense of how that is. So that's like what the actual pigment is. And this actual pigment is probably what is like this. So this would be a variation of it with a soft pastel. And this would be a variation of it with your hard pastel. Anyways, I hope this gives you a few ideas about what you can do to play with pastels and actual raw pigment. And I hope you find this useful in some of your creation works.